Aloha. Welcome back to Kauai Pharmacy. It's been a while since we've been on this channel, but we got a list of questions here on a video we did about a year ago regarding 3 steps to cleansing or detoxing. And the questions that arose were, I thought, really relevant and great questions. So gave us a chance to get back on here and start it back up. So hopefully this is the beginning of more to come. So in the steps that I described in this past video, the first step was starving the disease as far as cleansing some type of ailment or disease. So the first step is starving it, right? You can't feed the disease. If you feed the disease, there's no plant medicine in the planet that's going to help you. So the key is to starve it. The questions that he asked were, does that mean we have to eat all raw? Which vegetables are best? So, again, it's all a process. There are no black and whites in any of this. What I would suggest is tend towards greens, leafy greens, herbs, all different kinds of herbs, from cilantro, to all different kinds of lettuces. Spinach is amazing. As far as raw goes, I think, again, whatever in your process, whatever's most integrative and easiest to do is the best. Certainly the raw foods are going to have more life in them and allow more cleansing to happen in a shorter period of time, but that's not ideal for everyone. For some people, they need to stretch it out a little bit, nourish themselves with more cooked foods. I think key would be get as much foods from the earth, certainly, as possible. As much food from your local farmer's market, that's key. And that's going to help with the cleansing process. As far as which vegetables, certainly things like carrots are going to be heartier. They're going to provide more nutrition, but harder to digest too. So you really want to give that system a break, and that's going to allow the body to really do what it has to do to cleanse and detox. So does this include organic raw nut and seed butters? Yeah, the fats. I love the fats. I love macadamia nut butter, macadamia nuts. I love all the seed and raw nut butters. However, they are heavy on the digestive tract, but they do nourish. So again, a balance there. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get in tune with a process that inevitably, coming out of this cleanse, you're going to land. You're going to land in a space of balance. So that's the goal here. The goal is not cleanse and then when we're done with the cleanse, go back. Or the idea is we're beginning a cleansing process, but the goal here is always to be in that balance, getting more in tune with that balance, and finding a place in which our body is receptive to the food and the diet that we're now integrating into our lifestyle. So hopefully that answers your question. Certainly the fats are very nourishing, and it's hard, certainly in a raw food diet, to live without the fats. At least I find that the case. And they're very nourishing, for sure. How many glasses of juice should be drunk across the day? Should we drink in the day? So again, I love a lot of juice. Right now I'm drinking a lot of oranges. That's what's in season. I just kind of open the tip and then just suck on the oranges, like a tangelo they call it, but I eat the oranges like that as well. So I have a lot of orange juice in my diet. Yes, liquidy foods. It's all about the liquidy foods, the foods that you don't have to chew a lot, right? That's why I like the nut butters. Swallow, anything that you have to swallow and is hard to swallow is also going to be very difficult for the digestive tract to swallow, to digest, to move the nutrients into the blood and then dispose of, right? So certainly those big, heavy fats are going to be more challenging. The cooked foods are going to be more challenging than the raw foods. But again, it's all about your process and what you're ready for. So just one step at a time. Don't attempt to put it in a box from day one. Really learn as you go and try things out. That's what would be my recommendation. A minimum number of days to do a fast. Shoots. I'm more of a kind of a morning fast guy. I eat my oranges in the morning. I eat my fruit in the morning, and then I start eating around lunchtime. That's my experience. I'm not a huge, big faster. Maybe I should try fasting for more time than that. But that's what allows my day to day to be in balance. And then I start eating lunch and dinner, salads, ideally sprouts. I do have macadamia nut oil in my dressing, macadamia nuts. I love those fats. Coconuts are great as well. Coconut meat, any of the nut butters as well. How many days? It's just, I'm not a radical faster, but it might work for you. And I just would say the key is to find the balance in your lifestyle. That's what we're looking for. So if you can do periodic fast, to me, healthier than long fast and then a radical kind of fall back the other direction. The second step, so the first step, starving the disease, we're going to cut it off we're not going to feed that disease anything. The second step, cleansing the disease. His questions were, when we cleanse the disease, I suggested herbs like ginger, turmeric, lemongrass, and all our herbal teas and powders. Also things like cucumber juice and supplements like moringa for protein and calcium. What he asked me was, what supplements are you referring to? Regular vitamins and minerals or your products? If your products, which ones? The finest vitamins and minerals you can find would be that I know of commercially available would be of Kauai Pharmacy. The vitality that's in this soil, the vitality that we harness, certainly is the next level of vitamins and minerals to heal. In this step 2, we're actually cleansing. So we're being proactive, right? There's the starving of the disease, which is cutting it off from dairy, meat, sugars, synthetic sugars, alcohol, things like that are coffee, that are feeding the disease. So we want to starve it, cut it off. The second step is cleansing it. How do we cleanse it? How do we be proactive about taking it out of the body, releasing it? Ideally, we release it through bowel movements and going to the bathroom. That would be ideal. That's a gentle cleanse, right? We want to be integrative in our lifestyle. So with that, our products, drinking tea, the soursop leaf for the colon, the noni for the entire digestive tract and the entire bloodstream. Those are the 2 herbs that come to mind. Moringa is both going to cleanse and nourish. So any of our teas, our purity is designed as a cleansing tea. Our vitality, our Kauai herbal tea I just had last night. I don't want to give you too information, but it was ideal. It had very linear effects on the colon, but also working on the entire body. So I love the soursop leaf as a gentle cleanser in our teas. And again, on the teas, drinking it consistently over time. So when we come out of this so-called fast, if you will, or cleanse, we're still drinking the teas and we still have a diet that we've learned about. This isn't something that when we finish, we don't, now what do? There's no finish. This is a lifestyle that we're trying to create for ourselves. So step by step. Certainly turmeric and ginger are going to be a critical part to cleansing that lowest region where all our, the lowest chakra, the root chakra, right? The root medicines of ginger and turmeric are going to be critical to cleansing that lower tract and that center of our body. And the third step, nourishing the body, right? So now we're feeding the body healthy foods. That's key. So we're going to get our energy to think clearly, to rest, to be in our calm, and then to proceed about our day, right? So we want to be nourishing the body. We got to give the body all the messages and all the signals it needs to believe that we are in full support and self-love of our present moment. So what does that mean? That means no bad stuff, right? Starving the disease, no bad synthetics, no acids. We're going to cleanse it, right? We're going to give it food that's going to clean it out, right? Just like you'd clean your house with lemongrass, we're going to clean our bodies with lemongrass. And the last piece is we're going to nourish. We're going to nourish our physical body, we're going to nourish our mental body, and we're going to nourish our spiritual self, our mental mind, And then, so as we nourish the body and the mind and the soul, we're going to do that. These herbs are going to be holistic in nature, right? Herbs like Tulsi, which are so spiritual, they're going to allow us to find our calm, root in our senses and understand what's us and what's inside us, what's happening, and we're going to find the foods that nourish us, right? So big salads, can't eat enough leafy greens, as far as I'm concerned. Green herbs as well, of all sorts, cooling, right? Cooling those acidic, hot acids out of the body, and then staying light. The lighter we are, the simpler we are in our diet, that's going to allow us to think clearly, act with intention. And then the last piece, you asked on what is specifically what foods. Should the diet be all raw? Does this include organic raw nuts and seeds? I did mention that. Don't put too much stress on the raw thing. If it happens, certainly raw foods from the ground, this CISO spinach, although not suggested to eat a lot of. Per ounce, per gram, it's going to have massive amounts of clean vitality in it versus cooking it. But carbohydrates, we use ulu a lot, but purple sweet potatoes that you can find at the grocery store, other pumpkin, orange pumpkin that you decide to cook up, or stews, or coconut milks, organic coconut milks that you stew up with curries, they could be ideal for some people in your process. So really it's about finding your bullseye, right? What works for you and the balance that works for you. And as you find that balance, you're going to tweak it. And and then the environment and the atmosphere is going to tweak, and then you're going to change, and then you're going to have access to different foods, and the seasons are going to change. So you're also going to find yourself getting in tune with the cycles of life, right? So as those cycles come up, our diets are going to shift. The moon cycles, right, are going to shift us. Certainly for the feminine, your moon cycle is going to change your diet, and ideally you're in tune with that. So again, don't put too much pressure on the raw, although truth be told, there is a lot more vitality in raw food, in my opinion. Moringa is going to be great. So our moringa powder, highly recommended. It's the ideal moringa. Calcium, potassium, phosphorus, it's a big protein. There's nothing like moringa. Dark greens, right? Dark greens are going to be ideal. And then finally, for this this person that I am grateful for asking these questions and inspiring us today to get back on camera and share with you all some information and some knowledge that we've learned from our lifestyle here. That's all we're sharing with you, is what we've learned here. He says, finally, do you have any experience working with essential tremors? Which of your products would you recommend that may help this issue? So my answer to you is no, I do not have any experience with working with essential tremors, but I did look it up, and learning about it a little bit, what it sounds like to me is what all dis-ease sounds like to me, which is the holistic work that we all are required to practice every day. So the holistic work. As far as your tremors go, so there's not the ideal circulation coming into your hands. I'm assuming from what I looked up, it's the hands that are tremoring. I believe that's the terminology. So ideal, more circulation coming in. How do we increase our circulation? Certainly all the 3 steps are going to increase the circulation, are going to break up any blockages, right? So the blood can work. The oxygen, we can oxygenate those hands, bring oxygen in. Our comfrey salve from the outside in, the serums from the outside in, oils, lubrication, right? Lubrication to the body is going to be key. Giving the body messages, and it's a step process, right? The healing is in the subtleties, right? That's an important aspect of this. Is we don't have any expectations about these tremors, about healing them in full, in totality, right? Our goal is not to put them behind us necessarily. Our goal is to every day improve our situation, right? Every moment of every day be on that healing journey and make really good choices. So yeah, what does that mean? That means lubricating, right? I love lubricating the joints. It's key. It's so important. So certainly if you're having tremors, lubricating your hands. I think the Tulsi spray on the hands is going to help bring a lot of awareness. What are we doing with our hands that are making us nervous, right? That are bringing anxiety out into our hands, that are increasing blockages in the arms and the shoulders and maybe in the fingers. But typically when we see the symptom is a symptom of the holistic self not taking care, right? So better rest, better thoughts, right? Our thoughts are sacred. So how do we manifest positive thinking? Those are all key to allowing the ideal energy to enter our hands. As far as physical exercises, certainly fists, right? The whole body's relaxed. We can fist, and we can fist with a little more strength to the extent, again, no pain, right? We don't want to feel pain when we're healing. We want to feel balance. So, but having more intention in those hands and creating that circulation. And this is true with any part of the body, bringing breath right through the nose into the hands. Those would be my recommendations. Hopefully that spoke to your questions. And I didn't get off topic too much. Lastly, when it comes to the tremors, make sure you just approach it holistically. Don't get caught up in staring at your hands too much, since that's what's theoretically tremoring, because really it's a symptom. So appreciate the holistic lifestyle that you're living, and increase your awareness as it relates to your diet, your rest, your hydration, and as those things come in, my opinion is that you will see more fluidity and more calmness and more performance out of your extremities and your phalanges. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the questions. So any questions from this would be inspiring if you could follow up anyone with some questions, and I'll jump back on here and answer those. That's how I work best. Thank you so much for listening. Aloha.